Hello, you're watching Road to the Draft on afl.com.au and the AFL Live app as we take a look at some of the top prospects in this year's draft pool. Nat Edwards and Cal Toomey with you. Cal, how you going?
Good, thank you, Nat. Very close now to the AFL Grand Final, but I'm looking a little bit further ahead because the NAB AFL Draft's coming in November and we're talking about a couple of very exciting players today.
One with a very famous name, the Wanganeen name. We're seeing that again, Nasiah Wanganeen Milera. Tell us about him.
Yeah, he's a star. He's really, really exciting. He might be the best kick in this year's draft, and he's as silky smooth as anyone in the pool. Elite by foot on both feet and both sides of his body. Plays that wing role really well. So just delivers the footy in whichever team he's in. He's given the footy to do that. So that's his role, that's his position, and he executes it perfectly. So he's played a few different levels this year for Glenelg in the Sandful and also for South Australia, and was a member of the NAB AFL Academy program. He's 187 centimetres, so he's that really good size where goes a little bit taller in the air, can do some things overhead, but also ground level is really silky too, and was South Australia's best player in its NAB AFL Under-19 Championships game against Western Australia a couple of weeks ago. So he's the nephew of Gavin Wanganeen, the Essendon and Port Adelaide great, and the stepson of Terry Milera, who's the former St Kilda player. So he's not a huge ball getter. I wouldn't say that he's someone who dominates games with just overall massive numbers, but so skillful and classy that he makes his touches count. So he could well be a top 15 pick on draft night, such is that pace and the turn of speed and the weapon that he's got. So there's a bit of Taran Thomas from North Melbourne in the way he plays, I think. Maybe a little bit of the hunchback with the running, but just so skillful and about the same size. So a lot to like about Nasiah Wanganeen Milera.
Excellent bloodlines as well. So does this guy, Jessie Motlop. What can you tell us about Jessie?
Yeah, great bloodlines, as you say. He's the father-son prospect. He's the son of Daniel Motlop, the former Kangaroos and Port Adelaide footballer and forward and goal kicker. Unfortunately for those clubs, he won't be eligible to join them as a father-son, though, because Daniel didn't play 100 games for either club, so not eligible there. However, does tick over for Fremantle as a next-generation academy player, so is eligible to qualify for the Dockers.
Ooh, great
However,
news for them.
Well, there's an asterisk because they only get access to him if he gets a bid after pick 40. So they don't get to match a bid for him inside the top 40 under the Metropolitan Indigenous NGO rules. So that means I think that he's not going to get to the Dockers unless they use one of their own picks on him, because he's likely to receive a selection somewhere in the 20 to 30 mark.
Okay.
And he's a small forward, really, really talented. He's not someone who's got that electrifying pace, but just so smart and creative at ground level. Has played some good footy for South Fremantle, senior side, kicked 2 goals on debut there. Also a member of WA's under-19 team. So Jessie Motlop, one of the best small forwards in the crop.
I love it. I love a small forward, so make sure that Jessie Motlop is on the radar. The final player we want to take a look at is Campbell Chesser. Now, what can you tell me about Campbell?
It's been a frustrating year for Campbell, unfortunately. He started the year quite well for Sandringham Dragons, playing as a taller midfield / wingman / half-back. He did some really good things there in their round 1 game against the Oakley Chargers. What I like about him is he's an attacking player. When he gets the ball, he likes to go forward and take the game on. He can kick the ball a fair way. He breaks the lines with some athleticism and speed and really has that competition within him to take it on and go for it. So that's what we like. Unfortunately, this year, his season has been marred by some injuries. He hurt his knee earlier this year. That was likely to rule him out for the rest of the season. However, he did make a return mid-year for mid-country and played in the Championships Carnival game. Then looked set to really burst onto the second half of the season. However, we know that the season was shut down by COVID-19. So has had some frustrations, and that's fair enough, but a really popular member of the draft cohort, and I think the club that ends up with him will be really pleased with the character he brings, because he's an impressive young man, and I know the clubs really like that about him. So I think he's somewhere in the sort of 15 to 30 mark of the draft, and with that athleticism and speed and run, that certainly some qualities that he's got under his belt.
Well, the draft is edging very close, as is the grand final, as you mentioned. Enjoy getting out there and witnessing some football live in WA. And thanks, of course, for joining us on Road to the Draft. We'll see you next week.